Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to Smashing English. Before we start this video, be sure to subscribe because I make new videos all the time and I don't want you to miss any. So with that said, let's get on with the video. Okay, so today's video is going to be a little bit different. If you follow this channel, you know that most of the time I post videos to help you learn English. And if you are here for that, today's video will be a great chance for you to practice your listening comprehension. What I want to talk to you about today is my experience on this website, iTalki. If you are an English learner or a learner of any language, you might have come across this website before. Now currently I am a teacher on iTalki. I teach English, but I'm also a student on iTalki and I learn French on there. It's a crazy world we live in. So I just want to tell you a little bit about my experience both as a student and a teacher. So I'll start off by telling you about my experience as a student. If you only care about my experience as a teacher, skip to this part of the video where I will talk about that. Just give you some time to skip if you want. No? Still here? Let's talk. So I learnt French in high school and like a lot of languages in high school, I didn't remember a lot of it. So when lockdown happened, I thought, how can I spend my time wisely? So I decided to learn some more French. So of course I started with Duolingo, with grammar books, with reading materials, watching YouTube videos like you're watching right now. But I realised that my main problem was speaking, and I wasn't improving my speaking by reading Harry Potter in French. It wasn't really helping me. So I found a French teacher on iTalki, and honestly, I have nothing bad to say. Now the good thing about iTalki is there are so many teachers to choose from. You can really take your time to find the perfect teacher for you. You know, there may be a teacher with 12 million qualifications and so much experience, but you might not click with that teacher as much as you would someone who has no experience, no qualifications, but something just clicks there. So you can make the choice and find the perfect teacher for you, which I really like. A good thing about iTalki is most teachers offer a trial lesson, which is normally cheaper than their normal rate. So I've seen teachers that charge $6 an hour, but I've also seen teachers that charge $30 an hour. So if you see a teacher that you think, oh, I like them, but I don't want to spend $15 for an hour lesson just in case we don't click, you can choose a trial lesson, which are normally half an hour and they're normally a lot cheaper. In terms of how much iTalki has helped me with my language journey, you know, it's no surprise that babies learn languages so easily. It's because they're talking it and they're trying and they're making sounds and they're making sentences. So iTalki is exactly that. You're talking the language with a native person who will say, don't say that, we don't say that here. Say it like this instead. So for me personally, I feel like I've really improved since I started taking lessons in April because I'm speaking, I'm talking. It forces me to actually really try and make sentences rather than just reading a book in French and going, yeah, I get it. Now don't get me wrong, it's scary. The first lesson I had with a French teacher, I was so nervous that when the lesson ended, I cried. I was so stressed out and it just took so much of my energy to be like, I don't know what she's saying, this is crazy, that when it was finished, the relief just made me cry. So I understand it's super scary to go one-to-one with a native speaker and speak in a language that you're not used to. But trust me, the teachers are your friends. They want you to do well. They're not going to judge you if you make a mistake. That's what you're there for. It's good to make mistakes. That's the only way that we learn. So from a student point of view, I can't fault iTalki really. I think if you're a dead beginner, if you're really just starting to learn a language, you might find it tricky, especially if you speak to a native speaker who doesn't speak your native language. So I would suggest having a bit of a base knowledge of the language before you go to iTalki. So just being able to make some simple sentences and understand some important words that you might need I would suggest being at that level before you try iTalki. It'll just make it easier, I think. Okay, moving on to my experience as a teacher. Okay, so before we get started, I think it's important to say that iTalki is not my employer. I don't work for iTalki. I think a lot of people think that, you know, iTalki is a company and the teachers work for them. It's not like that. It's like an online forum where teachers can advertise themselves and students can find you. iTalki provide the platform for finding students and finding teachers, and because they provide that platform, they take a commission from your pay. So iTalki currently charges 15% of your rate. So if you are a teacher and your lesson is £10 an hour, iTalki will take 15% of that before they pay it to you. For me, I think this is worth it because I would never have found any of these students without iTalki. You know, if I just started a teaching business, I don't know how I would have found any students. So because of how easy it is to advertise yourself and to find students, I think personally the 50% commission is worth it. So because iTalki is really just a platform, it makes every teacher's experience very different. And I think your success on iTalki depends on a few different things. So there are two teacher types on iTalki. You can be a professional teacher or a community tutor. Now, a community tutor means you can teach without a proper teaching qualification. So as long as you have a degree, you can teach on iTalki. But a professional teacher, you need to have some kind of teaching qualification and teaching experience. Now, luckily, I managed to become a professional teacher in April. Now, I believe it's a lot harder to become a professional teacher, and I think the qualifications that I have, if I had that now and tried to become a professional teacher, they would say, oh, sorry, that's not enough. So I have a TEFL and 5 years teaching experience. That's what I've got, and I became a professional teacher with that. My partner, he has the exact same qualifications as me, but he has been trying to upgrade to a professional teacher for the past 4 months, and they keep saying that because there are a lot of teachers on the forum now, because of the lockdown, I'm guessing, they are not prioritizing people with just a TEFL. So you have to have a bit more in order to get up to that professional level. Now, the difference between a professional and a community tutor can be quite big, because when students try to find a teacher on iTalki, they might click a little button that says, just professional teachers. I just want to see professional teachers. So all the community tutors get filtered out. So that means that I, as a professional teacher, get a lot of traffic because people are constantly seeing me in the searches. However, my partner, because he's a community tutor, he doesn't get quite as much traffic, even though he has the same qualifications as me. So obviously, if me and my partner worked in a school, we would be paid the same rate, you know, because we have the same qualifications and whatnot. So that's where it gets a little bit tricky. I think it just depends on timing. And I think I was quite lucky that I joined quite early on in the pandemic. Whereas now I think because a lot of people have maybe lost their jobs or are doing very different things, they want to work from home, there's been a bit of a surge in teachers on iTalki. So it's a bit harder to become a professional teacher now. But I do think it is still worth it if you want to be a community tutor, because my partner is still a community tutor, but he is getting booked up really, really well. And I think it's because he has a good video. You know, it's so important to have a really good teacher video. I think that does wonders. And also because he is a good teacher, so he's keeping his students. And slowly he is able to increase his price so that he's getting more money, because obviously professional teachers can charge a little bit more than community tutors because it feels like you're getting more money's worth. But he is slowly being able to increase his price just because he's proving himself as a good teacher. So it's still worth it even if you start at community tutor level. In terms of support and help from iTalki, I'd say they always reply, which is good. I have had to deal with them once because I received one inappropriate message. Now, I've been on iTalki since April and I've only received one inappropriate message. So that's quite good going, I think, considering it's a forum open to people all over the world. So when I had this inappropriate message, I sent it to iTalki and said, this person should be off the website, and they replied within about 2 days and said, thank you, we'll take care of it. So they are prompt with their support. In terms of the pay, this is where it gets very specific for every teacher. So I started my iTalki journey charging £7 an hour, which is below the minimum wage in the UK, and not a great wage. So I started at £7 an hour, and they recommend for you to do this. They say, in order to build up your student base, try to start at a low rate. So I started at £7 an hour, and then slowly I just built up and built up and built up. And it just depends on demand. You know, if you have a good video, if you have the qualifications, if you have good reviews, if you're able to keep your students, all of those things will mean that you can increase your price. It's like giving yourself a pay rise, which is what I quite like about this job. You know, you can look at your bookings, and if you think, I'm getting booked up loads, so many people are booking me, then you can just, you know, treat yourself to a little 30p rise or something. So it's a slow burner. You will not start iTalki and be, bam, I'm in the money. But you have the potential to build up to that. And then it's sort of limitless, really. Like I say, I've seen teachers charging $29, $30 an hour. So it's possible. I do not charge that much, can I just say? And I don't think I ever will. So if you're looking for a reliable, quick income, I don't think it's right for you. I think it's better to find some kind of online school where they have contracts and much more reliable hours. I personally prefer the flexibility of iTalki, and I can live with the thought of, oh, maybe 1 week I will get £30 less or something. I can live with that because I love the flexibility, and I love the fact that I don't have a boss. I don't have anyone to report to. I can just do what I want, you know. It's up to me how I teach, what I teach, when I teach, and that for me is worth the unpredictability of it. But I think, you know, once you've been at it for about 2 or 3 months, it becomes quite reliable and predictable. Like, I can very comfortably open my hours from Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and I know they will get booked up. So it's like having a normal job, but with the flexibility of being able to choose whenever you work. So everyone's experience is very different, but that's my personal experience. I'm now on about £16 an hour, which is great for me. That's perfect for what I want to do and what I want to be buying. But that did take me about 8 months to get up to that rate. And in terms of the work itself, I love it. Like I say, I don't have a boss. I don't have things that I need to follow. I love the freedom of it. I'm not very good with authority though, so I think that's where that comes from. But if you're someone who wants to try it, I would say get a TEFL or some kind of teaching qualification. I did mine online. It cost me about £30 and I did it in about 3 months. Get yourself a teaching qualification and just try it. You never know, it could become, you know, a full-time job, which it is for me now. It's now my full-time job. So there you are, that is my experience on iTalki as a student and a teacher. If you would like a lesson with me, I'll leave the link for that down below, and also down below will be the link to my partner's iTalki if I'm fully booked. So hopefully I'll see you in a lesson. If you have any questions for me about iTalki, put them in the comments and I will reply. This video wasn't sponsored by iTalki at all, I just wanted to talk about it. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's there. So you can follow me there if you want. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ta!